You are watching TGZ TV.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Industry, where we talk to various individuals within the entertainment industry as they give us their journeys as they have gone from grassroots level to success.
From a church and engineering background in Swaziland to becoming one of the most noteworthy producers in South Africa, Nhlonipho takes us through his journey and perspective into the industry.
I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence. So how is it going? How are you doing? How is it going over that side in South Africa?
Well, everything is going smooth right now. Obviously, we had some challenges last year, I'd say the past 2 years, but right now things are really moving, and I'm just happy the way things are moving right now. As you know, the pandemic affected all of us, but right now I can say everything is coming along very well.
Yes, I can imagine, because obviously the music industry, most importantly entertainment, took a great hit, during the pandemic, where people couldn't go out to perform and gigs had to be cancelled. So everyone kind of got affected, and everything was kind of transferred online. And so what I want to talk to you, obviously, apart from obviously being affected by the pandemic like the rest of the world, is your career. Obviously, you are signed to VTH Season, right?
Yeah.
You are a songwriter, because obviously the Global Zambian, we follow you on Instagram, and we see your various videos where you're posting about teaching, whilst obviously at the same time you're releasing music at the same time. And what I would like to know is obviously someone who's it's a rare thing to find somebody who's actively an artist and also still actively teaching, simultaneously. I would like to know what your grassroots level is. What is it that inspired you to get into music in the first place, for you to even pick up an instrument? What is it that was behind all of that?
Yeah. Well, I started music at a very young age, and I started music. I'll say my mom was my like inspiration in a way, because she taught us music when we were still very young.
Oh, wow.
My mom is a music teacher, and she used to teach us as well. I was so lucky to be taught by her in the same school, like in primary school. So I grew up singing, like there's something called infant when it comes to choral music as well. We used to sing at primary school. That's where we started. When I say we, because I have a twin, and we used to
You're a
sing
twin?
choral music. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah. So we started music at a very young age. Not only just at school, but also at church. We used to sing at church, at Sunday school. We used to lead the infant group there, and that really helped me to actually get more in love with music. So I love music when I was still very young. I mean, primary school, you can imagine.
I can imagine. That must have been so fun, having a music teacher for a mom, and basically being inspired, from there, because obviously being African, it's a rare thing for any parent to encourage music in any way, shape, or form, because they always say, no, there's no money in music. You have to be a banker, you have to be a doctor, you have to go into finance, you have to basically be in the corporate industry. So having a mom who is actually already in music and teaching you and, your brother and the rest of the family, that must have been an amazing blessing. So in terms of the first instrument that you learned, how many instruments do you play?
Well, I specialize in piano because I just got in love with piano.
Right.
I think I got in love with piano when I was doing tenor solo in high school. That's when I just got in love with piano, because we used to do our sessions with a pianist, and I used to listen to a lot of opera tenor soloists, and they were normally accomplished by a pianist. So I think I got in
Oh,
love
wow.
with piano then. So I was like, no, man, I want to learn this instrument. It's so nice, you know. Yeah. Although I can try bass guitar, because I think I just understand music is the same, you know. It's the same language. That's why I always love using this term that says music is a universal language, because if you know piano, you can literally fall into any instrument, because it's the same kind of technique. You just need to know the language, and then once you know the
Right.
language, you can speak it in many instruments.
Right,
You know.
right,
Yeah,
right. That makes perfect sense. So I'm assuming that was the first instrument you picked up then,
yeah,
pretty
definitely.
much. And at what age did you become fluent? At what age? Because I know that when you pick up a piano, things, you know, when you any child picks up an instrument at a very young age, it doesn't take long for them to become really good at it. At what stage did everybody, you know, around you go, "Oh my gosh, you're actually really good at this"?
Well, after hearing it at school, I then decided in 2010, after winning my solo competition, my first one, I decided, no, let me just start learning piano. And then, luckily at church, there was an elder who was playing piano at the time,
Mhm.
and he used to play piano. His name is Dr. Matunja from Swaziland, and it's like, can you please teach me how to play piano?
Oh,
He was like, no, it's fine. We can try doing it, because I'm one person who love challenging myself, and I
right.
started doing it. And I think it took me, okay, to learn the church stuff. It took me like, I would say, a year.
Okay,
A
wow,
year.
that's still really good.
That's just the church stuff, the church gospel and everything. And then, yeah, I would say I started there.
Wow, a year. There's
Uh,
people who take years, not one year,
so,
like literally years to you know be able to learn an instrument, which means you definitely have a natural gift for it, and obviously which is very telling given your background. And so
mm,
when
mm.
you were obviously practicing with your family and everything, how did you transition that to deciding to say, okay, I'm actually going to try and pursue this as a career? When did that happen?
Yeah. Well, it happened after graduating my civil engineering. I did a diploma in civil engineering in from 2011 to 2014. I graduated in 2014,
Right.
and then after graduating in 2014 for civil, I was like, no, I actually love civil engineering, but I have a passion, and I would love to accomplish it. And
Mhm.
I went to enroll for music performance in South Africa. That's in 2015, to enroll in specialize on piano. So
Right.
I started professionally in 2015.
Wow. Okay, so I'm curious. You've mentioned civil engineering, so I'm just trying to marry the two. Where, where did that part of your life come from where you decided to take a course and literally qualify as a civil engineer? And what were you hoping to pursue at the time before you decided to take a detour and say, you know what, actually, I prefer music?
Well, I'm coming from an environment where we don't have a lot of music platforms, or I would say music schools. You know,
Oh,
so I'm coming from Swaziland, so we didn't have a lot of music schools and everything. So I was
right,
like, no. After graduating in civil engineering, I was like, no. I love civil engineering, but I think it's number two. My first
right,
love is just music. I want to study
right,
music, because I didn't want to be comfortable, that kind of thing. Because once I start working on civil, I love civil, but once I do it, I wouldn't get time to learn my instrument, and also learn
right.
my music gift, because that's what
Mhm.
I want. I wanted to know what I have, which
Right.
I feel like it's cool. Yeah.
Okay, that makes perfect sense, and it is quite interesting because I suppose in your case it kind of gives you something like a backup, you know.
Yeah,
Not that you hope things will go wrong, but you actually have a backup. You've got a great qualification. You've got something you can actually be able to do on the side if you wish to, because obviously engineering is massive in the sense that when it comes to developing economies, you know, engineering
yeah,
is kind of in the forefront, you know, when it comes to that. So you kind of have the best of both worlds, if truth be told. You know, you kind of you kind of have the best of both worlds. And so I would like to know, obviously, when you decided to go to South Africa, pursue the course, you know, in performing arts, and wanting to really pursue that fully. How was that a journey for you? Because obviously it's never as smooth sailing as people think. Because once you make it, everybody thinks, oh my gosh, you know, they must have had it easy, this and the other. How was it like for you having to transition yourself to, okay, I'm going to do this course. Now, how do I find my way into the market? How did you manage that part of your life? How was it?
trust me, transitioning from engineering to music was very difficult. I mean, from home. Let's start from home. Convincing my parents that okay, I'm done with. I got my diploma, but I don't wanna go and work. I just wanna go and study music first. Was really difficult, you know, convincing them like, okay, I wanna do this thing. I believe in this thing. This is my passion, and I believe that it's gonna work for me. It was not easy. You know, it's not easy to convince parents sometimes. You know,
It's never easy,
especially
not African parents.
yeah, and the environment that I come from, no one is really gotten to that level where
Mhm.
they like, yeah. So it was not easy. I won't lie to you, but I convinced my parents, and luckily they agreed. Finally, they agreed. They were like, okay, let's see what's gonna happen. I was like, trust me, mom, this is gonna work.
You
You
were
know,
confident.
yeah, I was so confident. Trust me,
That's
I'm a
good.
dreamer. I'm a dreamer. Once I see a dream, I see it
Mhm,
come accomplished. Once I
mhm,
see it, I always believe in that. Once I see something in my
mhm,
dreams or in my visions, it's
mhm.
already accomplished. I can do it. Because
That's
I wouldn't have seen
good.
it if it was not possible. But the
Right,
fact that I see it means it's possible, you know?
right.
So, yeah.
And so now that obviously they gave you the blessing, so to speak, right, to go ahead,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you now find yourself in this brand new territory because now you're like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it
Yeah.
now. I've
Yeah.
convinced my parents, and I've
Yeah.
convinced myself, and I'm pretty sure what I need to do. But how do I do it? How did you manage to navigate going to performance art school and then obviously pushing yourself into the market? Like, how did you finding the right people to talk to give you the right advice, the right connections that kind of helped you build your brand?
Well, I wouldn't say it was luck or what, but I think more than anything, it was hard work, you
Mm,
know, hard work. As a scholar, I was a very hardworking person, even at school. Like
mhm,
my lecturers were very close to me, you know. They would give me opportunities there and there every time, like, because they
that's-
knew how much passion I had for what I
mhm,
was doing. Because I went all out more than anything. I just
mhm.
went all out. I was like, no, this is it. I'm doing. I'm putting everything that I have.
Right.
You know. So everyone was on my side. My lecturers, my friends, and I got new friends at school, like good friends. You know, who already had a great reputation in the industry this side.
That's
You know, so that really worked for me. And
mhm.
more than anything, it was hard work. I would just answer you like that. It
Yeah.
was just hard work. Yeah.
So how many years did you have to put in before, you know, obviously we're now in 2022 and even before the pandemic hit, because obviously you professionally started taking on music 2015, right? So
Yeah.
we're talking about 5 years, give or take. So in that process, obviously you must have had some ups and downs. And as someone who decided to venture on your own, how did this affect you emotionally, your mental health, and also financially? How did you manage to navigate that?
It was really tough. Trust me. From the beginning phase was very very difficult.
Hmm.
Until I managed to get people that really trusted my craft and believed in what I was doing. and they really loved my sound. I mean, it took me like 3 years at school. Like people were like, "No, man, there's this guy, but this guy." Every time people would just refer me to their project or to their shows. I used to do shows with my lecturer. My lecturer, Wanda Zonge, he's a saxophone player. He chose me. He was like, "No, I want you to be my pianist. I love your sound." And I was shocked. My sound? What is my sound? Okay.
What is your sound? I'm curious now as well. What would you describe your sound? What would you describe your sound? Because I did notice that it is different. It's not your typical, it's not following in the Amapiano lines. It's not following in the quieter type style. It's not really typical house, So where would you place your sound?
I'm just an African that loves African music, and I love implementing that and also putting a soul in that. I love making music that touches me, because I believe that if it touches me, it's gonna touch the next person. That kind of thing.
That is very true.
Yeah, so I'm a very, very spiritual person, and I believe that when I'm making music, I need to go out. I need to use my emotions. I need to play what I'm hearing in my heart. That kind of thing. So I just make music with that kind of feeling. So I wouldn't explain it properly. I think that if you ask people who have worked with me, they can explain it better. But that's all I put in. I put in my heart. I put in my everything when I make music.
And is there anything in particular that normally inspires you? Because like obviously, when you're in the arts, naturally your day to day, there's things that you look at something or you observe something or you're even watching TV, right? You can get inspired to be able to create music or to write lyrics, that sort of thing. Is there anything in particular that you find tends to put you in a place where you're really inspired to write about? And can you give us some examples of some things that have actually inspired you to write some of your songs that you have today?
My inspiration comes from everything that I've done. When I was young, everything that I've been listening to, and also to add what I was introduced to at school, because at school I was introduced to like African jazz. My favorite artist is the late Babu Begumseleku, and my mentor is Nduduzo Makatini. I don't know if you know him. He's a great pianist, jazz pianist. And that sound also, like when I heard it, I was like, no, this is my sound, so those are my inspirations. So if you combine that choral music, church, and the jazz music that I studied, so it comes together to what I am right now.
Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. So when you were being invited, right, by your colleagues from school and your lecturers inviting you to do all these different gigs, so obviously that kind of gave you the groundwork when it came to experience in the industry, right? And so after you completed your course, and you're like, okay, now I'm just literally pushing Nhlonipho, how did you manage to basically navigate that to the point where agencies like VTH Season managed to notice you, in order to sign you? How did that happen? Was it just through using social media or networking? What was that process like for you?
People getting to know me, I think also it was just more of networking.
Okay.
Because I met good friends of mine, and we worked together. There's a guy called Luyolo Beku, and he used to help me during there and finding the right people to work with, and then he introduced me to Fifth Season.
He introduced you to VTH Season, so they didn't scout you out.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really good. I didn't know people do it like that, but yeah, that is actually pretty that's actually pretty interesting, And so when he introduced you to VTH Season, did they arrange a meeting with you to kind of like look at your CV, look at your your discography, and see how best they could work with you?
Yeah, they did. They did. We did some couple of listening sessions where into my music, and I think they already had some of the music. I was shocked when I got there because they already had some music that I did. So they just looked interested yeah, knowing me and working with me.
And so now that you are signed to them, obviously they're kind of helping market your business better, catapult your business. In terms of what you are looking forward to achieve within your career, what sort of impact do you think your career has had on your life as a whole? Because obviously you come from a music background and everything, and you love it, you know, pursuing it. But in terms of friends and family, because people do tend to start treating you differently as your starts to grow, you know, as your status starts to grow, especially in entertainment, you know, people start to treat you slightly differently. You can have a banker who is earning $1 million a year, and then you have a musician or an actor who's earning the exact same money, but people always treat the one that's in the public eye differently to the one that's, you know, not really in the public eye. How has it been for you? Because obviously more and more people are getting your attention, you know, they are seeing you, they're watching you, they're following your music journey, and not just people in Swaziland and South Africa, but people around the world. How has this impacted you on a personal level in terms of how people in your life treat you, and how you have had to make any adjustment if necessary?
Well, this has impacted me a lot because it has made me so confident in what I'm doing, you know. So before I wasn't this confident because, you know, you always have that thing that yeah, I'm working, but no, nobody knows me and no one hears music. But once I get a large, I would say, number of people listening to my music and also commenting positively to it, it really inspires me. Also, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right track, you know. So I'm so inspired by it. And I'm so happy, you know, to receive the kind of it's exciting. I won't lie. It's exciting to get there.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And what about your parents? How has this, in terms of, obviously, you know, they were like, okay, let's see, but obviously they probably still had one eye open, like, we're not sure, you know, but they just said, if this is what he wants, let him go do it. How are they feeling about your where you are now with your music?
My parents always tell me that they're proud of me.
Oh.
They didn't expect this. So they're so proud of me, seeing me where I am now. Like they didn't foresee it. Like it's really great for them, you know. I'm not only changing my name, but I'm changing the community where I come from, you know.
Right.
By a lot of people from where I'm coming from.
Right. And speaking of your community, you did mention earlier that you know, no one from Swaziland has really taken things up like that, right? You know, in the music industry, because you come from a different, more working class community as opposed to entertainment and pursuing careers in entertainment. And you've mentioned obviously it's making a difference. How big of a difference has it actually made?
Oh, it's a great impact. Trust me, it's a great. It might not appear as like that because of where I'm coming from, the way entertainment is treated, but it's really great. I mean, the people that always give me a shout out are really big people from that side, and like I must just continue. I can see where this is going. It's not there. I'm not at my peak yet.
You're not
I'm
at your
going.
peak yet.
Yeah, I'm just on my way there.
Right.
So they see the work. I mean, they can see the work. So I'm so confident about what I'm doing right now, and I'm looking forward to do greater things than what I'm doing now.
No, that's amazing. That's actually really good. I like the fact that you've got such a really extremely actually positive attitude, you know, towards your entire career, which is amazing, because some people, they still have doubts, they still second guess themselves, you know. And I just want to go back a little bit. Obviously, we've spoken about mostly your music as an artist. Now, I want to speak about you being a teacher as well. So obviously you went to school for music and you're a pianist yourself, but you're also teaching people. When did everything happen parallel to each other, where you're pursuing music and at the same time you're pursuing being a teacher? I'm trying to understand, like, did you have to go to learn to be a teacher, and how do you balance those two? Because I know what it's like to be in the music business and be very busy.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out when you get the chance to fit in teaching as well at the same time. How does that work, and how do you manage both?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to teaching, I was introduced to it by my lecturer and HOD. He called me at school. It was like, I think I was done by then. I was just fixing my paperwork for my qualifications, and I was like, there's a school that's looking for someone, and we feel like you can do the work because you fit in what you're doing, and we feel like you can teach people, because that's what I used to do even when I was at school. I used to help the ensemble, I used to do a lot of things at school, so they were like, no, we feel like you are the right candidate to do this work, and you can go and check them out in Bramfontein jobs. So I went there. That's when it started. They were like, and then when I got there, the guys, they were like, no, we needed someone like you, and exactly like you, because they really did like an audition kind of thing, where I went to students. They said, just show the student what you can do, and then I just did what I know, and they loved it, and then that's how it started in 2018.
Oh wow! So you've only been teaching like what, 3 years now? 3 good 4 years now, give or take. Oh wow! And this was already when you were pursuing your music as an actual artist. And so now, obviously, are you having to teach full time or part time? Because I'm just trying to figure out how you balance it all.
Yeah, I can say it's part time because it's not every day.
Right.
But I'm doing it. I love it.
So what would happen in a case where you have to go on tour?
So obviously, the way I'm working, they really understand my craft, and they really respect what I'm doing on the side. And I'm not just working there alone. I've got other colleagues that I'm working with, which are also great. We always cover each other when we are doing work, So yeah.
That's fair enough. And so what would happen then if you were to find yourself in a situation where your music has really shot up, right? Even more than it is right now. And it just occupies your entire schedule, where you actually have to leave teaching. Is that something that you've thought about, or something that you kind of put plans in place for, to say, okay, if this happens, this is the steps I'm going to have to take?
The funny thing is that that's the question that I always get from my students.
Oh,
they're like, we are scared. What if we lose you next month? Because
it can happen anytime.
It happens anytime. So they always like, hey, say, we are worried about you, because what if you leave us next year, or if you leave us next month? I mean, you are so great. But I always tell them that more than anything, what I want to see is a duplication of me in them,
right?
No matter how long it takes. You can't stop what God has put in someone.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't stop it. So only God knows.
Only God knows. Only God knows. But so long as you're prepared, right?
Yeah.
So long as you're prepared mentally to say, okay, if this happens, then I'm just going to have to adjust to it accordingly, right? And so for the music that you're making right now, where do you see it in 5 or 10 years' time?
Well, I've been doing a lot of music lately, a lot of music, and I see it growing. I see it going to other territories more than the ones that we're doing, or rather the ones that have had it right now. But
right.
I see it going globally. I see it going far. I believe that the sound that I have has got so much impact to any territory, literally.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely are already getting the attention of the international market. I'm originally from Zambia. living in the UK. So, you know, and so living in the UK. So obviously already us even having this discussion right now automatically gets the attention of the people in the UK audience. But at the same time, our reach is also to the Zambian audience as well as other parts of the world, including the USA. And so already, you know, there's loads of people kind of paying attention to what you are doing, you know, seeing what you are doing, and especially the fact that your foundation is actually being a musician, as in playing instruments. I think, like you said, it's extremely universal in the sense that you're not stuck to just writing lyrics, which means you can easily play and make music for anybody around the world. And so when it comes to the worldwide audience and any particular artist or musician that you've seen out there that you admire or that inspires you, is there anyone that you have always wanted to work with that you hope you can work with someday?
Yeah, there's a couple of them, including obviously Burna Boy. I love Burna Boy.
Oh, okay.
Love Whiskey. Love to work with them one day. I just love their sound, and I feel I love how they do it, how they internalize their craft to a song. You know, not just their craft. I love their sound. You know, so I'll just name those two for now. But yeah,
just those two for now. And so, your future music, what should we expect from you in the next coming months? You know, we're just starting 2022. So what should we expect from you for this year?
Yeah. Well, I've been working in studio. I have a Afro pop, Afro soul project that I'm working on, which is 95% done. It's actually done. You know, that I'll be releasing soon.
Okay.
And obviously, I have a few features that I've been working with on the Amapiano, Afro piano sound. Also, so that's gonna be coming out soon.
So you've got a very, very busy year ahead.
It's very busy.
You've got a very, very busy year ahead. Okay, no, we definitely look forward to what you've got in store for us. You know, we've loved what you've released so far. You know, we've been very fortunate, obviously. We always receive access to your music. We get to see what it is that you're up to. We get to follow your journey. And I do love the fact that you always share your journey with people on the internet, you know, and I feel that's what piqued my interest. Because I was like, oh, it's teaching. You know, you're playing the piano 1 minute, and I'm thinking, oh, wow, I wish I could do that. You know what I mean? So, yes, you're honestly doing amazingly well. You know, your music sounds amazing, and you seem to have a great head on your shoulders. And you're just fortunate enough to literally be a musician, a singer, songwriter, as well as someone who's got a degree in engineering. I mean, that is honestly an amazing CV. You know, that is an amazing CV, and we look forward to seeing what you've got more in store for us. But thank you so much for giving us an insight into your journey, giving us an insight of someone who basically you've come from Swaziland and traveled to South Africa. I would have never known that you're from Swaziland, you know. No, I didn't know that you were Swazi. No, I didn't know that. I just assumed that you were, I assumed that you were South African. So I was almost gonna greet you in I think it's Zulu or Sutu that I can greet in. Kunjad. Which one's that one?
Okay, yeah, but it's relevant. I mean, we have it's a Nguli language, so we share some of the words there and there, you know. So I could hear it, but yeah.
Thank you so much. And before we wrap up, obviously, is there any particular message that you have for any aspiring, singer-songwriters out there, musicians who are trying to pursue music, and also just a more sound advice in the sense that we do live in an era where a lot of people think they can just get instant famous just because maybe posting a lot on TikTok or Instagram. What advice could you give them in terms of what to expect in the industry in their journey? Because everybody's journey is different. So what kind of advice can you offer to those people who are trying to pursue a similar career to yours?
My advice would be, you just need to believe in what you're doing. Work harder can be, you don't wanna like put it into hours, you know, just work hard, make more music, and have a passion for what you're doing. If you know what you're doing and you believe in it, it's gonna happen. It may not be your time, it may be God's time, but you just need to work hard. I mean, the work speaks for itself, you know.
Right.
Now it happened for me, so I believe that if you work hard, you're gonna get what you want.
There you go. You've heard it from the man himself. Nhlonipho has given you the advice that you need. If you ever want to get into the industry, it's all about the hard work and having the passion for it and putting great work out there. But thank you so much for joining us today for another episode of Industry. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nhlonipho, singer-songwriter. Please make sure that you look out for him over on Instagram. You can see his Instagram handle right under his picture. Until next time on another episode of Industry, it's goodbye from now and take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Next time on Industry.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean you need to give up on your dream, or because, oh no, I gotta work, or no, because I'm working in Mr. Price now, I can't be a bombshell. You need to learn how to, you know, manage your time, because at the same time, to be a bombshell, you gotta invest. I had to invest so much to be where I'm at today, and I'm still investing. Not that I'm done. I'm still investing. You gotta build a brand. People gotta see you, and before you can get to all of that, you have to invest.
What were the businesses that you had started?
Oh, well, so I got into doing chickens, which I'm still doing till today, and farming as well. So that's something that I continue doing till today.
You are watching TGZ TV.